Homes. We got a list of 16 properties, and what's funny is that you'll see property number 9 over here is actually way over in Lindsay. Welcome to mapping in the year 2013. If the agent catches that, they can change it, but if they can't, they lose the ability on MLS.ca and some of the other third-party sites to actually have it within the map. And so much of what today is about is mapping, because we're all on our smartphones, we're on our iPads. If you've got the Realtor.ca app, that's where it's at. So 16 listings today, and what may come one day is the Milton Daily Homes app, which would be a lot of fun. We've had some discussion about that. Dredge is the first one. First of all, the name Dredge doesn't bring up great connotations. I'm sure it's a war hero or something, but 344.9 is the price. It's a current model, CURRANT, 1195 square feet. This picture is stretched out a little bit. It's a single car garage with 3 stories, and this model has never sold for more than 340, and there's been some nice ones even in the last 30 to 45 days. So I really don't think these guys are going to break the 340 mark, so they're a little bit high. Plus, you're living in dirt and all the rest of it. Not the ideal state. Now, not to say it's not worth something. I could definitely see it selling in the 330 to 340 range, but crossing 340 be a little tough. Guelph line is at 369, and it's almost 8 acres of land. And I think on a per acre basis, it's probably not that far off, depending on where it is on Guelph line. And so this one on Thompson is at 386.9. It's an Emery model. And so these are on little cutaway streets on Thompson. So the street itself gets very little traffic. And in fact, you can't park a car in front of the house. So your guests oftentimes have to park on the side streets and then walk around if you don't have driveway spaces. Now, that can be a bit of a drawback, but the noise from Thompson is obviously a drawback as well. It's 1370 square feet. There's 2 full bathrooms upstairs. You've got a backsplash and some hardwood floors here. Some of the walls are a little bit sort of yellowish green. I don't know how that's going to look in person. Sometimes the camera can make it look a little bit off. But for $1,000 more, you can get onto Prosser Circle and get a bit of a quieter street. You are a little bit close to the train tracks, so you might hear them from here, but they're not right in front of you. So 387.9 is the price on this one. A bit of a darker hardwood. Here's the thing. Take the broom out from beside the fridge, because that's where everybody leaves their brooms, but you can see it in the pictures. It's a very simple thing. I warn clients all the time. It shows up in pictures. The things that you don't expect show up in pictures. And the home looks like it's designed pretty well. And I would say that for $1,000 extra, assuming that they'd sell for full price, would you not go for something in a quieter location? I would say that would be a pretty easy decision from my end. Hobbs Crescent is about 2,200 square feet of total living space, which means it's including the basement. So probably about 1,600 and 1,700 square feet on the main floor. And then you've got that area downstairs. It's okay. To me, 439 seems a little bit steep. Also, there's too much stuff here. It looks like they actually moved the furniture and tucked it all in the corner. Although I can see good things happening from having a pie-shaped lot as well. So 439, the house itself, the only way I'd say it's going to drive up into those kind of numbers is if somebody really sees the value in the land. Grant Way is at 444,977, so it's a 2,100 square foot home. It's probably this one right here, and it doesn't feel like a townhouse. It doesn't even feel like a semi. You've got the 9-foot ceilings. You've got a big floor plan here, and you can see the hardwood floors. The kitchen is pretty open and pretty large, and you can definitely notice the higher ceilings as you get into the kitchen and family room. So it's a nice looking place. There's nothing wrong with that. I could see there's been similar models that have sold around that price. So they're, historically speaking, they should be in the right spot. Croft is at 454.8. It's a 1,900 square foot detached home, and it's a little bit older. Maybe they put into the price the fact that they might need a new roof or so on, but the actual house looks really nice. There was one in the 460s actually that listed this week, and I actually said that was a pretty good deal. Croft will join up with Laurier, so you're going to see an increase in traffic on this street once they open that up. The Cookie Monster room is pretty awesome, by the way. But they'll probably notice a 3 or 4-fold increase in the number of people cutting from the subdivision where Laurier and Thompson is, going across Fourth Line, getting onto James Snow in the 401. So you will definitely see that Croft of 2013 is probably not the same Croft as 2008. Featherstone is at 459, detached home, 32 by 102 foot property. It's a 3-bedroom with a finished basement. When you look at the actual room sizes, it looks like you've got a combined living dining room plus a kitchen and breakfast area. 3 bedrooms upstairs, plus it's a family room down in the basement, which is a rec room. 9-foot ceilings on the main floor, California shutters, hardwood floors. So they could do it. It's hard to tell without the pictures, but it's just got the one room, whereas the one at 454 in Croft has actually a living dining room plus a family room, so you're getting even more space. Farmstead is at 545, so it's the larger version of the double garage. I believe this is one of the Spirit plans, and I believe it's around 2,000 square feet, just over that. It's possible. We've seen the Quincy Corners, which are a little bit smaller than this one, sell up into the 530 range, although we've also seen the Quincy Corners sell around the 500, so there's been a lot of variation there. So it's a little hard to compare this home compared to other stuff. Have we seen 2,000 square foot homes sell for around that price? Yes, and this one is pretty nice. Might happen. There's a lot of variation, so the sales are all over, which makes it very difficult to comment on where that one might in fact sell for. So Roper Drive is at 559, and so very bold colors. And I believe this one's come out before, and they've simplified the border around the kitchen. Probably has to go. There's some very dark colors in here. So I think that simplifying means just keeping the wall colors neutral. And you can play around with furniture, with pillows, those kind of things that are easier to change. But the room colors can really create a mood and a vibe in here. And I don't know if it's working to their best interest. There's hardwood everywhere. If you actually look at what's underneath all that stuff, you could definitely see some value. Serafini is at 629.9. It's not on the part on Serafini that we talked about yesterday. It's on the west side of the street. I think it's got really nice curb appeal. There's lots of bright sunshine coming in through that front window. And I'm not sure what this room is. If it's a living room, it looks pretty tight. Sometimes that's the camera angle. But the HDR photography, I think, is a nice touch. And then you've got a really nice room in the back there too. So I actually think the pictures present well, and it's got a nice floor plan. I'm not sure about the size. I've been in this home before. I just can't think of the actual square footage. 43 by 101 foot property is actually nice as well. Dow Landing, 3,700 square feet of living space at 649. Didn't appear to be moving at this price before, but they've relisted and put it back out again. It doesn't have a lot of zip to it, although the builder finished basement is a nice feature. So it's not an actual person that finished it, it's the builder when they were building the property. We haven't seen a lot of the higher photography, but I think we're going to start to see more. They're starting to do a bit more marketing, and we can see the effects. And this one has a bit of a wider lot on the side there. The home itself is about 27, just over 2,700 square feet. It is a competitor with the one on Arthur's right now that backs onto the pond and the green. I don't know if people are going to fall in love with this kitchen, but what you have as a value add here is you've got the finished basement plus the extra size lot. And there's a lot of nice windows in the basement too. So I can definitely see this one attracting attention. It's a good solid family home. It's not expensive to change a kitchen around, to do some things, change the cupboard color. It's not as hard as people think. 689 is probably within a very fair range of this one here. This is my favorite listing of the day on Reese Court. 734.9, and we know it's between 25 and 3,000 square feet. You've got a nice backyard backing onto some green space. You've got a big open concept kitchen, and just a lot of the double sinks, the glass shower. You can actually see the photographer right here, which is kind of funny. And it's a great quiet street. It's actually, this home is owned by some agents, and they're great agents, by the way. And I really think that this one is just polished, perfect, ready to go. For someone to move in, and the fact you've got privacy behind is excellent. So Valley View is at 745, and so it's the home next door actually just sold recently, and you can see that they've got some nice finishes. It's a very orange tone. It's a little bit hard to tell the size of this home. I don't think it's actually exposing how truly big this home is, but it looks like you've got a sliding door walkout from the lower level, and you've got a pool in the back too. So $745. The one next door didn't have a pool. The views are fantastic from this part of the street. It's right up on the top curve of Valley View, and I think this one should attract a lot of attention. It's a nice big home, side split design, fantastic. So Random Acres is at $899, and I believe it's a 20. What does it say here? 2,400 square feet. This is a partly finished basement, so I'm not sure how partly it is. The home's okay. I mean, it's really a lot closer to, Acton and Rockwood than it is Milton. It's way out there. It's basically a 5th line and 25 side road. And I would say if you're going to go to this, you go to something like the one we've got listed on 32nd Side Road for $975, and you get 6,000 square feet of finished space. And the land's a little smaller, but the house is really playing at another level. So it's up to you. Do you value having a larger house or maybe a little bit more land? So that's the list. This one's probably in an okay range. I know the market up there is a little bit slower, but that's the list for today. So 16 properties. If you have any questions, let me know about anything you see in this list, or if you need a hand. And the last thing I'm going to say is we put together a really special video about a very special property. So I'm going to share that with you next week. And it's just, the home is over $1 million. It's got one of the best views I've ever seen in my life, right at the top of the escarpment. So that's coming out probably next week if all goes well, and I'll let you know about it. It's terrific. So have a great weekend, and if you're in town, let us know, and we'd love to hook up and have a chat. Have a great weekend.